What's up guys, Chris Zaglansky here, and today we're going to be doing a comparison video, the difference between the S-Works Venge and the brand new Tarmac SL7 Pro. I mean, right out of the gate, both bikes are insanely sick, both very aero, and both very aggressive in the way that Specialized has designed both these bikes. So taking a look at the Venge, this bike was the pinnacle for aero bikes and the pinnacle bike that Specialized has made. They've made the Venge model for about, I want to say 7 or 8 years. They started around 2011, 2012. There was a rim brake version. Your boy Mark Cavendish, which they named the bike kind of after him with the Venge due to his last name. He was like the fastest sprinter that Specialized had on the CUNY Quick Step Pro team. So he was riding that bike for a long time. I think he had like zip wheels at the time, and they released the Venge Vise, which came around 2016 to 18. The rim brake version of that bike was not great at all. I mean, I heard a lot of pro riders, even cyclists down here in South Florida, who were riding the bike and they hated the brakes on it. So then they switched to a disc brake version, and then they came out with this, which we saw this bike for about 2 years. 2019, 2020 was the last year we saw this, which I'm really bummed about. It kind of sucks because this was my favorite bike, and honestly probably one of the most best looking bikes that Specialized has ever came out with, and they went ahead and got rid of it for this. And take a look at this. This is the brand new SL7, like I was talking about, and a lot of similarities between both bikes. I mean, both bikes are going to come with the S-Works Aerofly 2 handlebar that we see on both of them, with that integrated stem on both bikes. And it looks like on the SL7 they kind of like slimmed it up a little bit. I don't know if they're trying to reduce a little weight, because on the SL7 it's a 12R carbon opposed to the Venge is an 11R carbon. So they kind of did that, and to reduce weight kind of makes sense. On the older style frame, it's a lot more beefier. So on the Venge version I have here, it's got the Shimano Dura-Ace Di2, and on the SRAM it's got the SRAM Red 12 speed on this model. On the Venge it's 11 speed, which has Dura-Ace. This has SRAM Red. On my build, I went ahead and did the new Revol Rapid wheel set, which both bikes have them on there right now, but the new SL7 S-Works comes with it. That's going to be the Rapid CLX. I just got the Team White editions because when I got this frame, I was unable to get the old school, or not the old school, but the last year's edition of the CLX. I wanted it in the white decaling, but they didn't have it. So I'm like, whatever, I'll go ahead and pull the trigger on this set of wheels, which honestly, I don't think it looks that bad. I think it complements the frame very well due to the Specialized and S-Works logo on there are white. So it kind of complements the bike really good. On this model of the SL7, it's like that greenish purple. It's a matte style frame, but when you take a closer look into it, it has kind of like that iridescent look to it, which is really cool. And what they did on the Revol decaling is this: they kind of glossed it. I know on the other style SL7s it's more of a matte look. They glossed this one out to match the frame on the S-Works on the down tube. So looks really good on both bikes. One other thing I did want to bring up and mention is that when you're doing a comparison on both these bikes, the down tube on the Venge is a lot beefier, wider due for aerodynamics. The Tarmac has never really been an aero bike until now. It's always been a climbing bike, very nimble, was always the lightest amongst the 4 main bikes that Specialized made. Lighter and more nimble than the LA, the Roubaix, and the Venge. So on the down tube on this one, they kind of kept like the stock styles of how the SL6 looks, which is just a rounded down tube, which doesn't look bad. I do love how on the Venge, how it's more beefier, it's more flat, and aero looks really cool. So when they got rid of that, I'm like, wasn't really bummed about it, but I kind of wish they transferred that over to the SL7. But what they did transfer over, which we saw from previous model SL6, was that rear seat stay and chain stay, which both bikes do have. And one of my favorite parts about the Venge is this back wheel cut, this little aerodynamic cut. Looks really good. It looks like they kind of slimmed it down too. On this one, I could kind of like fit a finger in between it, which on the Venge was a lot more beefier. Again, I think on the SL7, they're trying to save weight. Like I can't even get a finger in there. And this is a 700 by 28. He's running 26s, but still I think with a 28 on there, if you did put it on that bike, that you'd still have a little wheel gap. I kind of like how this one's a little more tucked in, but again, that's just personal preference. Another thing on the bike that we're going to see that they did carry on forward was the C-post. This is integrated on the Di2. I know on his model they did make it in a Shimano version. It would be integrated back into here, but since he's got SRAM Raid E-Tap, the battery's just on the front and on the rear derailleurs, so we're not really going to notice much on that. But that's going to be, I mean, pretty much it for both bikes. You know, they're both going to come with that S-Works power saddle in a 143, which is a stock standard size. I had the white decaling again, which they kind of got rid of this and they went to a black decaling. It's just a newer style. I think they're just switching up and really just want the bikes to match as best as possible. I mean, that's going to be pretty much it, guys. You're not going to get, oh yeah, one more thing I would say on the Venge, the BB on those bikes are press fit. On the new SL7 Tarmac, on all the models, the Pro model, Expert, and S-Works, it's going to be a threaded BB, which is also a little different. I don't know if they're doing to stiffen up the bottom end since they shaved off a lot of weight on this bike. And the forks are going to be a little different. So when you see the one on the Venge model, it is a lot beefier than the SL7. But with that being said, I mean, if you guys have any other comments, questions, or concerns about the bikes, go ahead and drop them in the comments box below. Like, subscribe to my channel. I haven't done videos in a while, but I'm looking to do a lot more this week, and see you guys then. Later.